everyone. This is Mel White from Classic Exhibits. First of all, I'd like to thank so many of you for joining us on our webinars over the past 2 months. We really appreciate it. Secondly, if there are topics you would like us to cover in future webinars, please let us know. You can email me at mel@classicexhibits.com. I'll do my best to find an expert to cover that topic. All right, you all know the webinar drill. We love questions, so feel free to enter them at any time. We'll respond to your questions at the end. And yes, the webinar is being recorded, and we will send you a link to that recording in a day or two. Our presenters today are Jim Shellman, James Sharp, and Stefania Toscano from Classic Rental Solutions. Most of you already know them, so I'll dispense with the formal introductions, except to say that all three are amazing at what they do. Jim and James, in particular, have over 20 years of experience in rentals. As we head into Q3, Q4, and Q1 in 2021, there's one absolute certainty. Most trade show budgets will be tight, and most exhibitors will be nervous and anxious. That's simply undeniable. They will be searching for cost-effective solutions to jumpstart their trade show marketing, and in some cases, that may mean paring down an existing display, if possible, or simply taking fewer people to the show. Regardless, they will choose smaller booth spaces, which will mean opportunities for rentals, and in particular, customized rentals. In this environment, we believe that rentals will take center stage, whether combined with a purchase or as a complete rental package. However, it can't be a Hail Mary pass to save a sale. It has to be on the table from the very beginning, and at Classic Rental Solutions, it's our responsibility to provide you with a flexible and competitive rental program that ensures you can be successful regardless of the booth size or the budget. All right, enough from me. Jim, take it away.
Thank you, Mel. And good morning, everybody. Afternoon to some of you on the East Coast. And thank you very much for joining us. As Mel said, we have James Sharp, our production manager here, and Stefania Toscano, senior project manager. And Stefania's been here for about 3 years, and she does a fantastic job with details in managing projects. And she works directly with distributors from the very beginning when an order is placed, and just communicates really good with our distributors and follows all the projects through in complete detail. And James, I hired James 23 years ago when he was, well, I won't say his age, that'll give away his age now, but hired James 23 years ago, and back then I actually owned Exhibits Northwest, and we had a rental program that was actually a pretty nice little business. And at that time, we did mainly pop-up exhibits and folding panel systems and that type of thing. We did have kind of a modular laminate system as well. But boy, has the rental business changed over the years. And it's so refreshing now to be able to just kind of start fresh with a clean slate and work with distributors for their clients' needs, with just kind of any kind of design that they want and not be limited by systems. So anyway, let's get started here. Today's topics are going to be, okay, now come on. Here we go. Today's topics, we're going to cover our rental galleries, design services, new products, toolless light boxes, Gravitee panel system, customization, our double deck designs, monitors, multiple show discounts, rental rewards program, large rental inventory, staging process, setup instructions, and packing. And I know that looks like a lot, so we're going to kind of zip through these and just kind of do an overview of everything. And keep in mind that we're available anytime for a call to kind of go over this in more detail. And then at the end here, we're going to have a Q&A session. So please do send your questions in as we go. We want to keep the process simple, all the way to the completion on the show floor. The first step is finding the right design, and we can help with that. We have 341 designs in our rental galleries, including our islands, inlines, and accessories. And you can mix and match components from one design to another, or we can design something to match your client's specific needs. Here's our rental gallery landing page, and I always tell people, I tell our distributors that I think this is kind of the best place to start if you're really looking for a solution for your client. You start off, if you're on our website, you start off at the, and click on the rentals, and for some reason, I'm having a hard time with my cursor here. 1 second. Well, I think I'm going to have to skip the cursor and just look up at where you see the arrow with rentals. Just click on rentals when you're on our website, the classic website, and then you can browse islands down below, islands, browse inlines, or browse accessories. And when you go in there, I'm going to slide over to a live shot of it. When you go in there, you can, here we go. You can click on like the inlines, for instance, and just scroll down, and you're going to see all kinds of different inline designs that we have. And if you want to select one in particular, you just click on it and go in, and it'll have design details listed below. It'll have the pricing, the rental pricing, and the graphics priced out separately. And then it'll also have the purchase price, so you can always compare. And we do price out the graphics separately so your clients can see what they would be paying for just the rental if they were to rent it again, which we do get a lot of repeat rentals. Then if you click on specs, you go up here to setup instructions and graphic dimensions. So most of the designs that we have produced do have this on the website, but there are some that we haven't actually produced yet that don't have those, but we obviously will provide those for you as we get into the project. So you can do this with the inlines, and as I said, you can go over here and click on accessories, and then scroll down, and you're going to see all of our different accessories from kiosks to counters, workstations, Genius bars, you name it, hanging signs, monitors, just about everything you can imagine. And again, you can click on any of these designs, and you're going to see the design details, the pricing, sometimes crate information, crate estimates, and so forth. Now, if we go back to the presentation, here's an example of one of the islands in the island gallery, and we're showing here an actual show photo of that same design. So you can see how we do build them very close to what the designs, the renderings show. In this case, there were a couple of modifications just with the monitor, kiosks, and then some lighting that we added inside underneath the canopy there. So again, design details, crate estimates, setup instructions, graphic templates, and always keep in mind that you can mix and match components from one design to another. So you're not locked into just what's shown in the design. We don't have crates sitting on our shelves with this specific design. We have components in our inventory that we pull from and just build every design that you see here, which makes everything real versatile for us, and it actually works out better for you because you can just mix and match what you want to do. Here's a 10-foot, a 10 by 10 inline, and as you can see here, the staging photo over here on the right looks just like the rendering. Again, if you want a different reception counter, you can always switch that out, and we can just price it accordingly. Here's an iPad stand. If you don't need that, you don't need it, so we can take that off the order. If you go into the accessories gallery and pick out a counter, here's a backlit counter that we have in there. again, a staging photo showing how it really looks, and then on the website, you're going to see all the design details. So that kind of covers our rental galleries. And again, it's islands, inlines, and accessories. So you can go in there when you're trying to formulate ideas for your clients, go in there, take a look, and even if it's just a tower from one design that you really like and you want to do some other things around it, look at all the designs and really start to think about how they can work together and how the different components can be added, and then that'll get the whole design process started. I'm not suggesting you're going to find the exact thing that you want, but it'll at least get the whole process started so we can work with that information and then start the whole process from there. And our design services do include kit rebranding at no charge. So if you do see a kit that you think will work perfectly for your client, you can just send us their logo and any specific graphics that you'd like us to include in our renderings, and we can do that for you at no charge. And we also offer kit modifications. If you want to add shelves or you want to change it up some, we can just do that and provide renderings. And then custom designs. If you don't see anything on the website that's going to work, we often do start with custom designs, completely ground up designs, and we make our designers. We have our designers available for calls with you and your clients, or just you if you'd like. But I will say that when we have our designers involved in these calls, our closing ratio goes way up. We find that when we're really engaging with the clients and our designers, they tend to really, ask the right questions and do a great job of coming back with solutions that work. And on the design services, I will say that for kit modifications and custom designs, we have very reasonable pricing. And we have a sheet that we can follow up with and give you that pricing information. New products. Our Symphony line is something that I have to give Mel a ton of credit for. Mel actually worked with our production team on the purchase side and developed this complete portable line. And it's very unique. There are other similar looking portables on the market, but they're not designed like this. This is all designed to use SEG graphics, which gives it really crisp lines. You're not going to see another exhibit really like this on the market. It's really budget friendly, which I think now moving into a recovery after this whole COVID-19 thing is going to be really important. But it's also very portable, ships in rotomolded cases. It's no tools. It's knob assembly, which makes it super easy to put together. Again, the crisp lines with the graphics, with the SEG graphics. There's complementary accessories, and you can mix and match those as well. So if you see a reception counter in one of the kits that you'd rather use, in the one that you're looking at, workstations, monitors, literature shelves, it has a lot of super nice accessories that go with it. And we have 6 of these Symphony designs in our rental offerings at this point on our website in the inline galleries. Here's 2 10x10 Symphony designs, and as you can see here, you can place the workstations in different locations. Monitors, same thing with monitors. It accepts monitor mounts, and I think we go up to about a 36 or maybe even up to 42-inch monitors. And Mel has done video demos with this, and there's plenty of information available for you. Here's another couple of 10x10 inlines. Here's 2 10x20 inline designs. And again, you'll see different reception counters, different monitor placement, different workstations. Some of our workstations come with graphics, some don't. It's up to you and the budgets that you have to work with. And again, if you have any questions on Symphony, please feel free to contact us and we can send you links to videos or brochures that will be super helpful. More new products. We just added 3 new monitor kiosks to the accessories gallery. These are very contemporary designs, include locking storage. All 3 of these have backlit graphics. They have light boxes built in. And then there are touchscreen options. So you can either use standard monitors or touchscreens. More new products, hand sanitizer stands. Obviously, these are very popular right now, and you see them all over the internet. Everybody's offering hand sanitizer stands. These are made right here at Classic, super high quality. They're white powder coated, and they're very durable. And the dispensers are also very nice and would work very long term. There's 3 of them that we're offering with branding, graphic branding, and then 1 that's very basic and a little more economical. But we really believe that even beyond COVID-19, that these are going to be very popular to send out with the rental exhibits, because people are going to be a little more cautious as they're shaking hands and talking to people even after all this is over. And I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to have 1 or 2 sitting in your booth. Here's an example of that. There's 2, 1 in each corner in the front corners. And again, they're great branding opportunities. This happens to be a 10 by 20 brand new display that we just added to our rental gallery. It's a light box with a backlit reception counter and a couple of charging stations. And we went ahead and added a couple of flat accent canopies as well. Toolless light boxes. This is a huge thing for us. We've been offering them a little longer on the purchase side, but early this year we decided to convert all of our light boxes over to toolless connectors. And that may sound like a simple little thing, but it has made a huge difference with labor savings. Even here, when we're staging orders to ship them out, they go up so much quicker. It's just a hassle-free connection. It's just a knob assembly. You just slide the connector into the extrusion and just turn the knob, tighten the knob. There are Supernova light boxes that are included. Some of the best in the industry, very light, are very bright, and you don't really see any hot spots with them. You can connect our light boxes. You can connect other components to it, like you see here in this image, where we have accent wing on each side, because there's a groove in the light box extrusion that you can connect to. And then you see a header here, a bridged header that also connects to the light boxes out in the front. And they come in, of course, in single and double-sided. Here's an example of a light box, a 10 by 20, and it's a light box design. You see a couple of monitors mounted to it, which we just add internal extrusion support to hold the monitor mounts. We have a couple of Genius bars here and a large reception counter that's completely branded. And again, this has just been added to our inline designs. Here's another one, another backlit or another light box design with 3 workstations, 3 monitors, and a reception counter. The counters and workstations are finished with a laminate, white laminate, and they each have recessed RGB adjustable LED lighting. Here's an example of a 20-foot wide light box that we did. It's 10 feet high, single-sided, got a couple of short return walls. We're doing light boxes, I swear, with just about every order. It seems like a very high percentage of our orders include light boxes now. And here's an example of one that has shelving connected to it. You just simply add internal extrusion and then horizontal shelf supports that come out. And here's a large island design that has a 16-foot high tower with a light box on each side of the tower. And then in the corners, you see double-sided kiosks that are also light boxes. And one last example for light boxes. This is a 12-foot high, kind of a custom configuration where we did light boxes on the upper levels and then double-sided light box return walls that were 12 feet high. But James, do you have anything to add for the light boxes?
Yeah, I mean, I speak to a lot of labor teams. We do labor calls, that sort of thing, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from folks just saying how much time savings there is with the toolless connections. My internal team, production team, I mean, they've made comments to me about how, you know, they just didn't think there was really going to be that big of a deal going to the toolless light boxes, and then after using them, I mean, it literally takes about half the time to set up a light box versus the old connections that we used, which used Allen wrench bolts, set screws. And yeah, I mean, it's just you know, we're able to integrate these in with a lot of other product lines as well. If you could go back to the India. This is an example of light boxes. That center tower is light boxes on the front and back, and we integrated it in with our Gravitee product line, which we're going to talk about here in a second. So, you know, there's a lot of ways to integrate these in. Like Jim said, you know, a lot of times we're not just sending light boxes, but we're adding a lot of light boxes into several of the orders, a large percentage of them. So.
And James, also we have two different extrusion sizes, one for the double-sided and then one for the single-sided.
Correct. Well, the single-sided one is about 4 1/4 inches thick. The double-sided one is about 6 inches thick. Gives a little bit more depth so that we don't get the hot spots. And we have a large inventory of both, so we can do a lot of different designs.
The other thing we do with that same extrusion is we use it for even non-backlit, even non-light boxes, I should say. It's just a great extrusion. It's so simple with the toolless assembly now that it makes a great back wall, just for any purpose, whether it's backlit or not. Okay, so now we're going to talk about our Gravitee one-step panel system. How long have we've had this now for a few years?
Yeah, it's been
probably
around
a few years,
2.5 to 3 years.
And it's a pre-assembled panel system, and this has truly revolutionized our complete rental program. We used to use a lot of our Modular extrusion, loose parts, and the assembly time, the labor time was just at least double what it is now today. The Gravitee system just goes together so easy. You just literally elevate one panel and slide it down with alignment clips onto the other panel, and and it locks into place. I mean, that's literally all it takes to put it together. There's no tools, and we all know there's systems out there that have a lot of tools, a lot of parts, or not a lot of tools, but a lot of parts that you have to use. And with this one, you have the strength even without those loose parts, and it works out great. The labor savings is incredible. And then it accepts SEG or direct print graphics. And one thing I'll note about the SEG is that there's at each seam where the panels come together, you can't really see it here, and I should have shown a larger image, but there's a little notch in the extrusion so that you don't have to clip the silicone on the SEG graphic. So it just smoothly runs all the way from one panel to the other, so you don't have to mess with anything like that and have your graphics produced with little slots cut in the SEG. And then there are backlit options. For Gravitee, I always say that it's actually best to probably just do individual backlit panels, because from one panel to the other, you would have a little bit of shadowing. But like on conference rooms or towers, it works out great if you just want to do one backlit panel or just some accent panels with some separation. If you ever want to do completely backlit, though, for a whole wall, I would definitely go with our Lightboxes. And again, we can connect our Gravitee system to our Lightboxes, which works out really well. So it's great for towers, back walls, conferences, conference rooms, kiosks, and counters. Here's an example of a curved design with the curved panels. And in this case, we used direct print Centra. I kind of prefer that if on the curved Gravitee panels, because it just conforms to the curve a little better. But and as you can see here, you really don't see the seams too much. On the darker colors, you see it a little more, but up here on the header, you really don't see that much at all. But anyway, we do it both ways with SEG or direct print. Here's a photo of a design that we did for the restaurant show, the International Restaurant Show. And this kind of tells the whole story about classic rental systems or solutions. And because it really shows a nice variety of all the different components that we produce every day. Ironically, this one doesn't have any backlighting. That's the only thing I would say that's kind of missing. But you see the Gravitee towers, Genius bars, and this is a little graphic panel down here. They just decided to go solid, and that really gives it a nice little accent look. But we have charging stations, custom shelving that attaches to the Gravitee panels, double-sided kiosks. This tower has locking storage, and here's a custom counter. It just kind of, this photo just kind of strikes me as one that shows a good representation of what we're all about. Here's another example with a tower with locking storage. As I mentioned earlier, I think we do hanging signs as well. Here's a Gravitee corner divider panel, or panels that divide a little conference room area, and then some counters with attached light boxes. Oh, and here's a conference room over here with a locking door. Another conference room with a Genius bar, and then a 10 by 20 inline. We do a lot of inline exhibits, probably more 10 by 20s than anything, but again, Gravitee, this sets up in literally probably no more than an hour with the installation of the graphics. And then customization. As you've seen with some of the slides that we've already shown, we do a lot of customization. We're not at all limited to just our standard designs on the website, even though a lot of those actually do have a lot of customized components. But as you can see here, we do laminated soffits, integrated video walls, not shown here, but in a slide that we'll be showing you. Custom counters. In this case, it was just mainly a custom countertop. They needed a longer top. We have custom shelving, product shelves, and we're just a very flexible company. We have no problem exploring new ideas and providing custom elements, because we know that with rentals, you have to do that. Again, product integration, custom wood fabrication. And here's another example of, or not an example, but this shows that entire booth. It had a double deck and ceiling soffits and so forth. But James, I was going to have you also interject and just share kind of some of the custom things that we do.
Well, in this particular one, obviously you can see that there's a lot of, there's ceilings, built-in shelving, that sort of thing. We did a ton of product integration into this one. This client has, they do security cameras and that sort of thing. And both into the deck and into the walls, we integrated all of that in. This particular design, we had an actual commercial door, like what like a commercial building would have, integrated into the walls, as well as a residential door and window. And we had a lot of the security features built into the display that they offer, which made it a real fun project.
Drop ceilings, storage closets, most of with our decks, which we'll get into here in a minute, but most of those have storage closets built in, and again, the drop ceilings, can lighting underneath. We'll flip over here to another. There's a door back in here that you can actually see. That was a real door that we built in, as James mentioned. And then James, tell them about this, this custom sign that we did.
Yeah, this AutoWeb display, they wanted to take a hanging sign and integrate these jerseys into it. So we came up with a way to do it using a second tier to the sign that acted as a pull rod for the jerseys to go through. On the same display, we did some custom sconces, but then we also, the center little center tower there, that was a bar that we did. We did a custom bar going around it, and then we had a keg built in with taps, and they actually served during the show. And it was just a real fun project to work on.
Here's an example of a 10 by 20 inline that had some custom.
Yeah, this one we did, again, another sconce with lighting. There's a sidewall as well that they wanted to be able to write on it, so we integrated a whiteboard into the sidewall. And then we did a halo backlit logo, dimensional logo, which turned out really nice. And then just some custom shelving. So
yeah. And here is an example, James, of a video wall that we actually kind of built a facade around.
Yeah, so this was, this was almost 20 feet wide, 16 feet tall. We have a partner company that we work with video walls, and we can integrate our product lines to work around other companies' video walls as well, if you guys already have companies you work with. But basically, we created the facade to go around the video wall, and then the rest of the components in this display as well.
Yeah. And then over here, this one just had a few little custom.
Yeah, this one was primarily they wanted to do a lot of presentation running off of their laptops, but they needed access to their laptops during the show, so it didn't really work to put them behind the display. So we built that countertop with custom sliding shelves underneath it, so they could pull their laptops out during the show.
Yeah. Okay, double deck designs. We do a fair amount of double deck rentals, and we have 3 configurations. One is the small configuration that's 16 feet by 6.5 feet, the medium configuration that's 16 by 16, and then the large configuration 21 by 20. And they're very contemporary design, aluminum structure, which is much lighter than steel decks that you see. Unlimited design potential with all the things that you can do to dress it up. There are just a number of ways to do this. We've done some very simple ones to a lot more elaborate ones. And then we also offer labor supervision services. And we really highly suggest that with our decks, because James or someone will travel and be there to supervise and actually jump in and make the setup a lot quicker, a lot more efficient. Go ahead, James, and maybe share.
Well, as Jim said, there's a lot of different design potentials with the decks. This first one that you see here is one that we used at the exhibitor show. Classic Exhibits did
Last year.
Just a lot of curves to this one. We integrated a video wall into it, which you can see on the right there. Storage closet built in. We did a stick wall build along the staircase and on the back side of the opposite side of where the video wall is.
We did a cool drop ceiling with some gold.
Yeah, some printed gold vinyl. Did tension fabric, tube structure going around, which gave us a lot of curves going around the deck. So yeah, just a lot of potential there. This next one was our small version of our deck. They just did, there's a small closet built into it. We did some sheer fabric to kind of keep an open look with signage up top, closing up the upper portion of the deck for more privacy. And then again, we did a drop ceiling, but that one was, they just wanted to keep it nice and clean. So it's just a white drop ceiling on that one.
Yeah.
With some lighting up there.
Here's
a few more pictures of the classic booth. You can see the stick walls, some custom signage, charging stations.
And then a better shot of the ceiling.
Yeah.
This was a medium deck.
Yeah, this was a medium version of our deck. Again, just did a lot of graphic facades going around it, just to close up the top for privacy. Tried to keep the bottom open, but on this one we actually added a 70-inch monitor that was mounted to the railing, so that was a little unique on this one. They wanted some to be able to run their presentation for people to see a little further away, so we were able to integrate that in. And then this is, just another example of, this one's a little bit simpler, but, again, just a lot of signage to help keep the upstairs private and keep branding. Yeah. So.
Okay, and here real quick, we're going to run through these things a little bit quicker because we're going to try to have enough time for some Q&A here. This is two medium decks that were attached together to create one. So you've got two staircases. And then we go to monitors. So we offer monitors from 24-inch to 75-inch. And of course, we work with you on where your clients would like them placed, the positioning, the height of them, which also goes along with graphic templates. So we show them in the graphic templates exactly where they're going to be and make sure we get your approval before we actually cut any holes in the graphics. We offer multiple show discounts. So if you have back-to-back situations, back-to-back shows, we offer a 40% discount off the rental portion of the second show if it's like within about a 6-week period. We're a little bit flexible on that amount of time, but if it's just going from one show to another and we don't have to bring it back for restaging, we offer that 40% off the second one. We do multiple show contracts, and that's all just so many different variables, so that's priced on an individual basis. And we also do free graphic storage between shows. So if your client knows they're going to rent again next year or in 6 months or whatever the case may be, we're happy to store the graphics at no charge. Our rental rewards program. Just real quick, several years ago, we were getting our rentals back with a fair amount of damage, and we were looking at this just going, what can we do to improve this? We talked to people about it, we talked to the labor companies and really try to get them to do the best job they can to protect things as they're packing them back up. And so we decided to kind of put a positive spin on it and offer a 2% discount or a 2% credit off the rental, off the next rental based on whatever the original rental was. For instance, if you do a $15,000 rental with us, including graphics, we'll give you 2% discount off the next show. So there'd be a $300 discount off the next show when things come back in good shape and without a lot of missing parts. Now, if we are missing a 6-plug outlet or 2 or something like that, and there are a couple little scuffs, we're not worried about that. We understand there's going to be normal wear and tear. But this has really changed the way that people are treating our components, because our distributors are talking to their labor teams, and they're just doing a much better job with taking care of the components and packing them up safely. And then we also do some periodic drawings. So the people that qualify for these 2% rewards throughout the year, every time they qualify, their name goes in a hat, basically, and then we do drawings periodically. And James, talk about our large inventory real quick.
Well, so we have very large inventory of Gravitee panels, Lightbox parts, counter parts. Like Jim said earlier on, a lot of our stuff isn't just sitting in crates. It's individual components that we pull together. This allows us to create a lot more options for everyone to use. So we pull the components to make each design. And I think something that's very important to remember is that, as a rental department, we are part of the Classic family in their same shop. So we have a full shop for producing, all these customizations that we do and that sort of thing. So here's an example of a large counter order that we did. This was 49 backlit counters that we did for CES last year. You can just see them all lined up. There were actually 4 or 5 different sizes of counters there as well. So we just, they had different needs. So we just made these counters to match their needs.
Yeah, we don't shy away from requests for large quantity orders. So if you need a lot of kiosks or counters, sometimes it may not make sense depending on what the counter is. But if we have enough lead time, chances are we're going to take a very serious look at it and try to fulfill an order like that for you.
Well, and talking about the lead time too, if we have the lead time, if you see something on our website, even if it's during the busy season, we're sold out of it, we're committed to still fulfilling the order and getting it produced.
Yes.
As long as we have the lead time to do that.
Yeah, so it's really, you might say it's an unlimited inventory, because if you see something like James said on our website and we don't happen to have it available, keep in mind at any given time we have 45 to 60 orders on the road during our busy times. So, but if we don't have the components available and you want kit XYZ, we will do that for you if you give us the normal lead time. We'll go ahead and produce another one and make sure that we have all the components available for that. And that's really important for you to know, so that you're not, checking with us on the availability and we're telling you, no, those 2 kits are out. We don't operate that way. We definitely fulfill orders if we have enough lead time. Here's an example of just a stack of Gravitee panels. We have a ton of Gravitee panels available. And again, we'll make as many as we need to fulfill orders. Kiosks, charging stations, and then staging.
Yeah, so we do a full staging of every order, including fitting the graphics. And we just find this to be extremely important. I've talked to other companies that don't do this or don't see the need to do it. We've always felt like it's a very important step to do a full staging, because there's just so many kinks and bugs you work out during that process that you don't want to run into at show site. So we do a full staging of everything. We photograph everything once it's set up. And then if you want to do a preview video call, FaceTime or some other video call, we can definitely do that. Just let us know so we can make sure that we set up a time to do that with either
you or with your
client.
Yeah. More staging photos, just showing that, everything is set up every time. We have to make sure that graphics are fitting and that everything's in good condition. If we see a scuff on a piece of extrusion, we take it down or we replace that. We don't let things go out with nicks and scuffs. We're very particular about the quality of everything. I would actually challenge you and you know, to see if it was actually a purchase display, a brand new display, or a rental, because we watch that very closely. More staging, example of, you know, integrating a display case in with a nice curved gravity system. And then setup instructions.
So yeah, we provide setup instructions with every order, showing all the labeled components. You know, here's an example of one where it's kind of showing step by step and exploded views of how things are connecting together and all the labeling. If you'd like to do a pre-show call with your labor team, we're more than happy to set up a time. That can, you know, especially on some of the orders that are a little bit more custom, that can really save a lot of headache on show floor.
That works out extremely well.
And we do that quite often. So
saves a lot of time on the show floor if they just get a little brief on little shortcuts and tips on the setup.
Yeah, and we do offer, not just for decks, but for other designs as well. We offer labor supervision. So either myself or somebody else on the team would go and supervise setup, and it just makes things run a lot smoother on the orders that are a little more complicated. So, and then we are available 24/7. So between me, Jim, and Stefania, if you have any questions, you know, let us know. We can get back to you. So
yeah, a quick phone call can sometimes save a lot of time, a lot of labor time. So we don't shy away from weekend or evening calls. If anybody has any questions at all, we can kind of walk through the scenario with you.
And then, you know, kind of the last stage of things, once we do the staging photos and you sign off on those, then we do the packing. And we take a lot of pride and care in our packing, try to really protect things as well as possible. We take photos of every layer and photos of what's in each box that we're packing. That way we can, you know, I get a lot of calls, oh, hey, you forgot that light bracket or you know, this or that. And, you know, a lot of times we can just open up the packing photos and reference and say, okay, no, it was actually in this box, and help them figure out where something is. And then we do send a shipping packet with every order as well, oversized manila envelope that contains, you know, physical copies of the setup instructions, the staging photos, the packing photos, copy of the inventory, and then return shipping info. That way your labor crew has all that stuff in hand, so that they can reference it. We can send links to that stuff as well if you need electronic copies of that. So.
Okay, well, thank you very much. We are going to take some questions now, but I wanted to just one more time just reiterate that this is just an overview, and we'd be happy to have a phone conversation with anybody that's interested in any of the topics that we discussed today, or just our overall rental program. So keep that in mind. We know that we couldn't cover all the details today, but we wanted to just give you a quick overview to kind of share with you how we can help you, not only in normal times, but as we pull out of this whole COVID-19 pandemic and move into more normal times, and just anything we can do to help, please don't hesitate to contact us.
Jim and James, wonderful job. I pretended I was you, Jim, during the presentation, and I answered most of the questions. There's a couple that I couldn't answer, so I'm gonna toss those your direction. Okay. Ruth is asking, and it's kind of funny because you and I just talked about this. Ruth is asking about adding touchscreen monitors to your inventory.
Yeah, well, you know, that's something that at this point we haven't, but we're moving in that direction now. So if you have that need, just share with us exactly what you have in mind, and then we'll quote it accordingly. So definitely we're open to that.
All right, this is more a question for you, James. Someone's asking about how high you can go on Gravitee, and I'm assuming it depends whether it's an inline or it's an island like a tower. How high can you go?
Yeah, I mean, the show regulations are going to be part of that restriction, but you know, you can go as high as the footprint will allow. Typically, most people go up 16 feet. I've gone up 24 feet. If you had the right footprint, you could probably go even higher than that. I mean,
All right, I think that's all the questions, unless there are any more out there. Like I said, I answered most of them as we went on. Thank you, Jim and James, and I know Stefania was in the background helping out as well. So thank all three of you for this presentation.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Thank you, everybody.